Right, we're going to look at the chain oil. Right, today we're going to look at this automatic chain oiler, and it's all inside this this cover here. My automatic, well, the flow control is this valve which comes through the chain guard. I'll show you that bit in a minute, but and then it vanishes off in this box. So take the box off, the cover. Cold day today, so all these parts will be a bit rigid. Not the ideal day to show it off. I'll get this cover off carefully. Right, now then, let's save that. With the cover off, I'll just take the feed out. And this is what's tucked away inside the box. Can't see it better like that. This is a bottle, obviously, that holds the oil. There's a little hole in the top there where I inject fresh oil, and also lets it flow, otherwise it'd be a blockage. It'd be a vacuum cause, it won't be able to flow. So it goes down here, obviously, through this solenoid. This solenoid is controlled by by the lights on the bike. An easy feed to find, because the actual lights are on as soon as I start the bike. The lights come on. So the oil is fed to here. Solenoid opens when the lights are on. The oil flows down here. This valve is set to one drip, roughly one drip a minute. So the drip obviously feeds through that little bit there, and that is actually the end of one of these silicone tube feed ends. I just cut it off and warm it up and press it with a pair of pliers at the end, so there's just a slight slot at the end, so the oil drips out just slightly wider than the normal pointed hole that's already on it. The tubing I've used is 5.5mm clear tubing off eBay. A little bit hard to get them over this connector here, so I use the wife's hair dryer, warmed it up and slid it over the connectors. These weren't too bad, but there's no wire ties required. Just warm them up and just push them on a bit. This bottle I already had, but I mean, if you're making your own, you may be able to fit something of a different shape than that. All I did there was a wire tie and some Silkaflex, not silicone because it's useless, Silkaflex, which holds the tie, so I can slide that off and unscrew the bottle if I need be at any time. And this just fits in that, so it just fits out the side of the air filter. It will be a job to get back because these are quite rigid now with this very cold weather, and it's about 2 or 3 degrees today. So that's basically the oiler. That plugs in there and drips on the tray, on the chain, and the chain, as you can see, is permanently oiled. There is a thing that I may do. The unfortunate thing is, well, with oil, the viscosity changes with temperature, and that being the case, it may be less in the drip a minute, quite a bit less in the cold weather, and far more in the warm weather. I don't think it's going to be a big problem, but if it is, what I shall do, I'll use an Arduino chip, program it so that it has put a temperature sensor on it, so that it senses the temperature and opens this for different times depending on the temperature for different lengths of time. That is an option, but whether I go with it we'll see. So that is basically it. That's all you need. There's a little bottle, a feed out, some type of joint to come out of that bottle. This was again off eBay, this particular bottle, and it was used for putting flux on PC boards. You had like a needle effect on the end, or a piece of plastic tube with a point on, and you could pre-flux any SMD, you know, the small chips. You can pre-flux it and then take the chip off, and equally do the same in reverse for putting the chip back on. So that's just the bottle I already have. But I'm sure something could, you could make something out of that, or just something else. And that's a solenoid, again off eBay. I think it was about £2.50. 12 volt solenoid, DC solenoid. This again was off eBay. It's actually a fuel control on-off tap, which I got two, and one I needed for another job, and I had this spare which I forgot about. Equally, you can get a sliding clamp on these, but I'm not too sure if that would be a good idea with the cold weather. If you did want to alter it cold weather, I think you may have a job on, because this gets quite tough. You may have a job getting it back actually. And so what you do with this, or what I did with this, it's basically practically off. The viscosity of this is quite thick, but what I did really, I can't really show it too easy. Some white paint there possibly you can see. Once I got it set, I put a standing knife blade across and just put some paint on, and it filled the nick, so I knew exactly where to put it. Because if it does get nudged, you can always go back to that point, because it seems critical on this particular valve. So it's basically just a shim off being off, and that is left permanently like that, and this controls the solenoid controls when it goes. Obviously, when the bike is switched off, lights are off, solenoid goes back to its normal position, which is off. And the vacuum cause stops any excess oil flowing down, because it's an airtight seal, a bit like a pipette, where you can suck it up and just hold the end of a straw or whatever, and when you take your thumb off, it flows out. And that's why that little hole is in the top of here, so there's always an airflow when that's open. Yeah, so it saved quite a bit of money, and that don't look ideal. Could have made it a bit better, put a clamp around this, but it's such a fiddle trying to get it in there, and it's not going to come out that often. All I do is tease it away and fill this using one of these ink hypodermics, you know, the printing ink hypodermics, and just fill that with oil. But I don't know how long that's been in, it's quite a while, and it wasn't full. I'll show you the oil I use. So we'll just rest that and get it back. So I can get it back. Get back in its rightful place. Bit of a pain to do with these. Yeah, so it can be quite expensive chain lubricant. So, being a skin flint, I'll show you what I use. Anti-fling Cain Saw Oil from you know who, ScrewFix. 1 litre, I think it was about £3.99, £2.99, £3.99 for a litre, which will last considerable time. So yeah, put it there. It may have been out of focus. That's what I used. Basically, I think it's good enough for the job in hand anyway. So it's up to you whether you want to spend a lot more or be a skin flint like me, and know at least your chain is getting lubricated. Now I was going to show how to get a wire connection onto a wiring loom without giving yourself a lot of headache. That's if you've got a soldering iron. So I'll just see if I can so that I'll leave that for another time. I think it's cold, my nose is running. Yeah, that's the oil. There was something else I wanted to show you, but anyway, I think that will suffice for that. There's a pipe. I ordered that, didn't need it because I already had some. So, but it's only cheap. 5.5mm clear pipe in eBay.